3 more days till Halloween, Halloween. 3 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
That's right, kids. It's your worst nightmare. It's the Halloween episode of the weekend edition. You're already going, oh my God, I've got a hangover headache. What are these idiots doing to me?
Crack open that Halloween candy you bought to give to the kiddies.
Yes, we know
Use
all
that
about
to supplement
the drama from last night. Too much tequila, too much booze, the girls that shot you down. That's what we're here for. And of course, because this is our last weekend edition before Halloween, you're getting all the best from your Uncle Dave and your Uncle Kev here pre-Halloween. It is the weekend edition, Sports Frenzy 2.0 on October the 28th. But of course, we're going to leave the Halloween stuff for a little later.
Yep. Because we always start off with music. Because we are about the rock.
That's right. So, very, very significant, important week of reviews here. Because one of the bands that we have been following and loving over the last year and a half, second album of 2023, Rival Sons, Lightbringer. Now, Dave and I have told you, you can argue whether it's a full album. It's only 6 songs. Should they have just put together one massive album?
Yes, they could have. They could have actually pared down the two into one solid.
Yeah, I tend to lean that way as well. Now, the thing is, I would never, as much as I like this band right now, I would not want to lose any music to the cutting room floor. And I think that's maybe because of Van Halen. And I'll explain that to you. Because we have not heard of anything coming out of the vaults from Van Halen.
No.
So when a band has decent music, even if if we could have condensed Dark Fighter, Lightbringer into one album, I would be scared to death of what would have happened to the 2 or 3 songs that didn't make the cut. Would we ever see them? Would they ever see the light of day? So, I still don't like this strategy, especially because of the fact that Lightbringer, if you want to actually own the physical CD, is $15 for 6 songs.
For 6 songs, that's insane.
But Dave and I will dig in here on the 6 songs and discuss other ancillary ideas, topics revolving around Rival Sons Lightbringer. So, start off with the first song, not the title track, but actually, technically the title track from the last album,
Dark Fighter. 8 minutes and 45 seconds.
It is all over the map. Well, I don't know what it is. It's not, I will say this, it's not awful, but it's unfocused. It reminds me of a Doors song. Almost like The End, except it just goes on forever.
And it doesn't know where it's going.
Right.
It's way too long. I will say I did not like the intro.
I don't. It seemed like there was 3 or 4 different song ideas
trying to
melded in here.
Yeah, it didn't work. This is one that could have been left on the floor.
And I agree. Probably the weakest song on the album right off the bat.
Yeah.
Again, too long. I don't know what they were trying to do with this.
There was no structure or cohesion to it at all.
No, who's going to visit my island if the ships can't find it?
What?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm with you, though. this was a very disappointing leadoff track.
Yeah, I was worried going forward after this one.
Then we get Mercy.
But Mercy, which is one we talked earlier that we loved.
Right. So we're okay with that. And then we get Redemption, which was, the more I listen to it, the better it gets.
Yeah, this start off is, really? But then I listen to it a few times. It kind of grows on you.
Yeah.
So it's okay. You can tell there's a number of 70s bands that you can hear the influence in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets better the more you listen to it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we get Sweet Life, another one we've reviewed.
Yep.
Which
absolutely
we love.
Love that one.
And now here's the last two songs is where it's either going to rise or fall for you. Again, very interesting that song 5, Before the Fire, is the album title of their first album, but they never made a song called Before the Fire until now. And it's an awesome song.
It's good. It's really good.
Before the Fire, I was a walking heart attack.
Very good.
I love it. And I'm like, this is so bizarre that we've got Dark Fighter, the song, not on Dark Fighter, the album, and Before the Fire, the song, not on Before the Fire, the album.
Okay, whatever works.
Yeah. And then we close out with Mosaic, which I think is a gorgeous song that would have been a great closing song in our little idea of
everything
a compact
together.
One album.
Yeah. I really liked this one, the way it was set up. It kind of almost reminded me a little bit of Cheap Trick's Voices.
And it's positive. That's what I liked about it. It's a nice positive ending.
It is, but it had that music lilt to it.
You've got the lyrics, of course, saying the broken pieces fit together, basically saying, yes, we're all broken, but we can all make it work together.
Yep.
Again, very uplifting closing statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, the first song is the one that really throws you for a loop.
Yeah.
Again, it's all over the map. Doesn't seem to have focus. Too long. But again, now I will say this: Rival Sons, their crap is still better, as I always say, than 95% of what's out there. Redemption, again, I'm starting to feel better about Redemption. But again, 6 songs, boy, that seems like you're short shrifting your fans. I will give Lightbringer a week 3 Frenzies.
Yeah, it's a strong 2.5 week 3 because it's so short, and Dark Fighter really brings it down.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. I'm not trying to necessarily defend them, but you got to remember a lot of the classic albums from the 80s were barely half an hour long. So Diver Down from Van Halen, I think, was shorter than this. So I think we've gotten to the point where we expect more with the CD format.
You would hope you would have 10 to 12.
Yeah. And again, if they combined the two, pared things down a little bit, they could have got one phenomenal record of the year easy.
Yeah.
If they'd done that.
Agreed. So
well,
still worth a listen.
I'll say right now that Dark Fighter's the better of the two.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Even with, I will say this, though. I will say that Mercy and Sweet Life might be the 2 strongest songs out of the 2 albums.
The whole bit, I agree entirely. Yeah. Those 2 are absolutely fan-freaking-tastic.
But as an album, the first one's better. Yeah. Dark Fighter's better. All right, so we have 3 singles to review this week. I'm going to have issues with all of these songs. Well, not all of them, but I think we're going to have some contentious banter about these songs. Maybe, maybe not.
Potentially, I don't know. Shall we start with Diamond Dave?
Sure.
Mandabala.
Yeah. And we're going to talk more about Diamond Dave here in a couple minutes.
Mandabala.
Yeah, but again, it's not available for some reason on Spotify, only on YouTube. It's goofy. It's weird. It's okay.
Bizarre. It's what you expect from Dave at this point.
Yeah. It's kind of like a flamenco almost type song. Mandabala. I thought it was okay because it was just goofy and fun, but it's not. It's a 2 for me. A 2 frenzies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
2. It's not quite an earworm. If it's on, I would listen to it, but I don't think I would go out of my way for it.
Right. Exactly. But then, of course, as we will talk about in a minute, he has released another song right on the heels of Mandabala. But let's discuss the last song, technically because it's the last song on the upcoming album.
Yep.
Equal Strain on All Parts, Jimmy Buffett, with Emmylou Harris, Mozambique, which is a nice, short, very pretty song.
It is.
Which I liked.
It's Buffett comfort food.
Right. And I think it will be a very fitting final song.
Yeah, definitely. It lines in. It would have been in the repertoire of any concert going forward because it had that good vibrations,
a little bit of steel kettle drums. Yep.
Just kind of a positive thing.
You could do a lot worse. And Dave and I, of course, off mic, were talking about this earlier. Final songs by artists or bands when they wrap up their recording careers, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Do the songs work as the final moments, the final recorded moments for these artists? And I think Mozambique is a fairly fitting ending.
It works
for Jimmy
very
Buffett.
Well.
Then, of course, we move on to the big...
So do you have your rating for Mozambique?
Oh, yeah, I guess I have to give it 1, don't I? I liked it, but I don't know if I would say it's a phenomenal song. So I'd probably give it 2.5. Yeah. 2.5 frenzies.
Because it's not his greatest.
Yeah.
But
I'm not going to give it extra weight because we know it's his last song.
No, it's good. It's not great. Like I said, it's Jimmy Buffett comfort.
Yes, exactly.
And that 2.5 is where it would be. And it's one that you can listen to over and over and over.
Right. And that's usually what Jimmy Buffett's music is. It all flows in that 2.5 range.
Yeah. Where it's good stuff that it's not over the phenomenal, but you want to listen to it if you're having a good time in a party. Right. It's there.
And we're not trying to rip on Jimmy Buffett.
No, because we love his stuff.
But he's a good songwriter, sometimes elevates himself to borderline great with songs like Southern Cross, Margaritaville, obviously. Yeah. But for the most part, he nestles, like you said, in that mid-range where he's not going to waste your time, but he's also not going to distract you from what you're doing.
Right.
He is, in a way, great background music. Of course, the parrot heads out there want to just storm the castle right now and kill us.
But that's why you're parrot heads, because you enjoy listening to it while you're having a good time. That's what he's about. Yeah. And that's what this song is. It lines right up with everything. We're not disparaging him in any way, shape, or form.
No. But I will say, great music, you turn your head and you listen. And you give full attention to it. And Jimmy Buffett's never quite been there. You don't focus on Jimmy Buffett's music.
There are those songs where you do focus, And those are the ones that rise to that upper status.
But again, they're few and far between to me,
Yeah.
at least. All right. A band that I will attest that there are albums, there are songs, there's music from them that I will turn my head and focus. And I did it this past weekend. I listened to Screaming for Vengeance, one of my favorite albums of all time, because that album makes me stop and just delve into it. I love it. I love Judas Priest.
And we have the first song off their new upcoming album. We have Panic Attack
Off Invincible Shield, coming next year, I believe March. And this is where maybe, possibly, we get some dissension. I was a little bit let down by this. I have to admit, I did not think this was the best step forward for Judas Priest in terms of the first single.
Yeah, they probably could have picked a stronger one. The intro was a little weak, but once it kicked in, it improved. Most of the lyrics were fine the way it was going. Not a fan of the way they did the chorus.
Yeah, the intro to me reminded me of the Turbo era.
Yeah.
A little bit with the keyboards and
a little
the
too much
electronica
over there.
But after the resounding return to form with Firepower, I mean, the last couple albums, this just kind of was a little bit too generic for me.
Yeah.
Didn't give me anything different, anything new. Didn't have a punch to it. Again, I'll take it, Dick, but I can't dance to it. That's kind of how I would put it. I'll give it a 2.5. That's 2.5 frenzies.
Yeah, 2.5 is where I put it as well.
I expect more from the Priest, though. I expect more from them.
You expect more. There's some good in it, but there's also the weak.
And it's a little long.
It's a little long.
It's a little long. So that's another thing working against it.
Yeah.
Is that it's a little long. So yeah, again, a mixed bag. Nothing terrible, nothing over the top great from anything we really reviewed here tonight, which is sad because we're talking about...
This is stuff that we enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, Rival Sons, Judas Priest, David Lee Roth, and Jimmy Buffett. We would expect something to jump out and be magnificent.
And we're just kind of, okay.
Yeah. So next week, as we always want to do, we will give you
a preview.
Yes, I mentioned David Lee Roth has more brand new music. Right on the heels of Mandabala, he releases The Shit That Killed Elvis in 2 different versions, acoustic and Technicolor.
Oh God.
There's not much difference. I've listened to both. You get a little bit more of like slight percussion in the Technic. There's not a lot of difference, really. Not a lot of difference at all. But yeah, not much better, let's put it this way, than Mandabala. Yeah. Especially lyrically.
Yeah, well, we'll let you kids know.
Another Jimmy Buffett song, since we're still a ways away, a couple weeks at least from the new album. New Jimmy Buffett song, University of Bourbon Street.
Nice.
Which, yes, sounds exactly like a Jimmy Buffett song. And now Dave and I will be torn on this one because we have mixed emotions about this band, even though we really do love them. New Green Day. The American dream is killing me. Yep.
Yeah, I heard it on the radio.
Yep.
So we'll give you our thoughts on that.
Yep. And finally, normally we stay away from cover songs, but I think we need to make an exception. And I would think you would agree with me on this.
We'll see.
Roadhouse Blues. Great song by the Doors.
Yes. God, who's going to destroy it?
Oh, no, the exact opposite. This cover song features Robbie Krieger of the Doors, great female singer Diamante, and the Black Moods.
Oh, well, there we go.
The Black Moods, Diamante, and Robbie Krieger get together for a cover of the classic Doors. Well, technically, not even their song.
Right.
But everybody knows the Doors version.
Yeah, they covered it, and so they kind of took ownership of it.
Right. So I thought with the Black Moods
involved. Sure, it's the
involved,
Black Moods. We have to.
Roadhouse Blues for you next week. So
plus an album.
We've got those 4 songs plus an album. We will review the new Rolling Stones album, Hackney Diamonds, despite the fact that we couldn't stand, we despised
the
long
Gaga
7+ minute Sweet Sounds of Heaven debacle with Lady Gaga and unfortunately Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Gets roped into this as well. But I have listened to the album, and if it was a travesty, if it was more leaning that way, I would say no, forget it. We'll listen to Dokken, which will be coming up the next week.
So,
but from what I've heard, the rest of the album is pretty damn good.
All right. We will recap that one for you next week, kids.
But it's spooky time. It's Halloween time.
So dust off that old 45 of the Monster Mash.
Get ready. We have got a new horror movie to review and a classic or two. Because, of course, Halloween's coming up this Tuesday. We're all into it. And maybe, hopefully, we'll give you a movie or two to watch that you haven't seen before to get into the Halloween spirit.
That's right. There's a lot of good stuff out there, kids.
Yep. So your Uncle Dave and I will be right back after this quick promo break. You take some aspirin.
Finish frying up them eggs.
We'll be right back. Hello, I'm James Cameron, prestigious film director. And since it takes me over a decade to make a movie, I've got plenty of time between takes to listen to my favorite podcast, Sports Frenzy 2.0, on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Stitcher, Amazon, and Audible. Hey, wait, I'm having an epiphany. I have a new idea. Summer of 2035. Blue robots from the future on a doomed ocean liner. Oh, brilliant. Where's Arnold? Get me Schwarzenegger. What about DiCaprio? Oh, what about Edward Furlong? We know he's not doing anything.
That's right. It's the Halloween edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0, The Weekend. I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
Along with the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And it's October 28th, 2023, as you listen to this on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby!
Otherwise known as, of course, iHeartRadio. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page. Mostly devoted to our sports edition, but still fun nonetheless.
That's right. It's your chance to interact. Give us your music, movie, book recommendations, TV shows, What are you watching, listening to, and reading?
Hopefully you're not watching Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh, sweet God almighty. As we kick off our Halloween movie extravaganza. God, what a crap fest.
I warned you. The premise.
The premise is great.
The premise is brilliant, but the execution is piss poor.
Oh my God, it's beyond piss poor.
So the premise is what would have happened if Christopher Robin, of course now, Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain. So you can fuck around with Winnie the Pooh all you want, just like you can with Sherlock Holmes. After 99 years, creations go into the public domain, and you can do whatever you want with them, do stories, and you don't have to pay one red cent.
Nope.
So, somebody came up with the idea. What would have happened if Winnie the Pooh had been abandoned along with Eeyore and Piglet
and Owl and Rabbit?
Right. Christopher Robin says, I'm growing up now. I'm going off to college. You guys are going to have to fend for yourselves. And what if they turned feral and turned back into their pure animal personas again? Which is a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant idea. But again, the execution is so bad. And it's
there
so
was
cheap.
no budget
so cheap
for this at all.
So basically what we get is Piglet in a boar mask because he's feral, he's grown out his tusks.
Yeah, and he's older now.
Yes, and then Pooh, same thing, basically looks like Farmer Joe with a Pooh mask on.
Yeah.
So it's
dripping honey constantly out of his mouth.
Right. Now, the thing is, in this day and age, and I mentioned this off mic last week to your Uncle Dave, in this day and age with the high-def cameras in your phone, basically, so easily accessible, in terms of the film quality, it's very good. But they obviously cheaped out on any kind of special effects
and costumes
or makeup or anything. And then again, if Pooh and Piglet are now feral, why are they using knives and chains and hatchets?
Sledgehammers?
Yes.
And machetes.
Wouldn't they just basically eat people, attack people, and eat people with their claws and their hands?
You would think.
But no, basically they've turned Pooh and Piglet
into slashers.
Yeah, into Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. Now, again, it's a shame that there is a very cool idea at the core of this.
Yeah, and it's kind of all over the map where it starts out with, I don't think we're ruining anything.
No, we're not ruining anything. No, I'm not
worried about Christopher Robin
spoiler.
And his wife, fiance.
Yeah, this all happens in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Go find him, discover, Pooh, Piglet, what's going on? What's wrong with you? No, don't not!
Yeah, the guy who plays Christopher Robin, pretty much his entire script through the entire movie is, Piglet, Pooh, what's wrong with you? Why have you done this? Why are you doing this? And that he just basically
I'm
says
sorry,
that,
I'm sorry, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's on a loop.
Oh my God.
That's on a loop. Anytime you see him, that's what he's going to say.
And then you jump to the second storyline where a girl who had been stalked, nearly molested, her therapist says, go on vacation. So she gets her girlfriends and they go to this little vacation house.
Which is the typical...
right next to 100 Acre Wood.
Typical stalker storyline.
Yeah.
Bunch of young, nubile women with the killers just lurking right outside.
Yep. I'm sorry. You have a gun. Why do you only have one fucking bullet in it?
None of this movie makes sense in terms of...
It's just awful. It's a shitty storyline. It's a shitty script. A great premise ruined.
Again, yeah, I will say that, though.
The premise is phenomenal.
I will say it's not the worst horror movie I've ever seen for the simple fact that the premise intrigued me.
The execution was abysmal.
Yes. And we got one of these stupid ass kind of open-ended endings.
Oh, God.
No, we don't need a sequel. We don't need
do
a sequel.
not need a sequel.
I will
Ugh.
tell you this. I will give it. You're not going to like me for this. But because I've seen so many bad horror movies over the last couple of years, and it's better than Smile. I just can't stand that fucking movie. Smile was so bad that at least, again, you had a nugget, a kernel of a good idea here. I will give Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey a weak 1.5 frenzies.
I can only go one, but I did not subject myself to Smile, so.
Smile was terrible. Oh my God, Smile was terrible. Again, there was nothing in that movie of redeeming quality. At least, again, the idea
premise
of what this could have been in better hands is intriguing.
All right, there you go. I have one. The
Halloween
Pope's,
theme, keeping with the
Yep.
Halloween theme.
The Pope's Exorcist. Russell Crowe playing real-life exorcist Father Gabriel Amorth. In real life, Father Amorth created an exorcist council and team, wrote numerous articles and books about possession. And this movie is inspired by his life, not one of his actual cases. But an American family who tragically lost the husband, his family had owned an abbey in Castile, Spain. And the wife thinks, all right, let's take the older daughter and the younger son there, oversee its remodeling to sell it to try and have money for them to live and move on. Of course, we find out that it is history within the Spanish Inquisition, where the head of the abbey, the priest, wound up being possessed by one of the evil fallen angels, whose plan is to bring Father Amorth in to get into the Vatican archives to help find the other 199 fallen angels to take over the world. And it's your battle of good and evil. Effects were really good. Daughter's acting and mother's acting left a lot on the table. But of course, Russell Crowe is phenomenal. And the actor who plays the young priest who assists him is pretty good. It is one of the better horror movies that I have seen in a long time.
Wow. Okay.
There's some cheesy moments, but overall, it's solid, and I will give it a solid 3.
Wow. Okay. Now, where'd you watch that?
This was on, I think it was Netflix.
I'll have to look. I have to see if I can get that.
Let me verify that here. I believe you have a story time.
Yes, I do. Because of you. Because last week you basically led me down the primrose path,
that had
giving
to be
me an
done.
excuse to have a story time for this week, because the overlooked, underrated third movie in the Halloween series, which is not...
You can watch it on Netflix.
But of course, you probably have to have the premium plan, so that means I can't watch it.
Yeah, you can stream it on Netflix. I don't think a premium was required, but you can watch it, stream it on Netflix, you can watch it on Cinema, or rent it through Amazon, Google, YouTube, Apple TV. But Netflix is where you can watch The Pope's Exorcist. Now back to
Halloween 3. Nothing to do with Michael Myers, nothing to do with Jamie Lee Curtis, but it is brilliant, and I am shocked that to this day we have not adjusted the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, on the IMDb.
This is a great
Season
story.
3, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch is brilliant. Yes, it is low budget. Yes, at times it's cheesy. But you cannot overlook the fact that it is a brilliant plot, a brilliant idea, and in the end, the execution is great. Given the time frame we're looking at, the very early 80s.
Evil company wanting to take over the world, destroy humanity,
the world. Yeah, destroy
humanity through Halloween masks.
Yes. Using the ancient magic of Stonehenge. Of course, one doctor stumbles upon the conspiracy, gets laid. Very, very beautiful woman.
Yes.
Along the way. Got to have a little bit of that.
The
that
TNA
sex appeal.
factor.
Yes. And she turns out to be a robot. Spoiler alert. But the idea behind it and what happens, I will not spoil this for you. What happens when these Halloween masks that are at the center of this great grand conspiracy to destroy the world, with the little chips of Stonehenge in each and every mask, what happens when they're activated with the most ridiculously catchy yet irritating
song ever. The 3 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Now today is Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
And then when the flashing pumpkin comes on the TV screen, the mask is activated.
Because the buildup is tune in at whatever 9 o'clock on Halloween Eve.
Yep.
On Halloween, tune in at 9 o'clock.
For the big giveaway. Yep.
Make sure you're wearing your masks.
Yep. Everybody gets sucked in for a big giveaway, of course. And then when the doctor finds out what's going on, and after all the shit he goes through, trying to stop all the... Now, this is a little silly. Getting on the phone and calling and being able to stop the major networks from airing the commercial. And he gets 2 of the 3. At the time, there were only 3. 2 of the 3 networks to stop airing the commercial. But the final one, does it slip through? Does it slip through?
You'll have to watch.
Does the apocalypse actually happen? Do we know?
You will have to watch.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Your Uncle Kev's story time here for our Halloween episode is one of my favorites. It is so vastly underrated. Again, you got to have a little cheese in there. You got to...
Yeah. And I think why people panned on it, because it was Halloween 3 and did not have Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis.
It should have been a completely different movie altogether.
Yeah,
and
it should have just been called Season of the Witch and been done.
Right. And the fact that every time somebody turns on a TV, if it's not the Silver Shamrock commercial, it's Halloween playing. Yeah. One of John Carpenter's Halloween movies playing. Okay, that's the only tie we've really got. And the music sounds similar to the old John Carpenter Halloween movies. But it is a brilliant movie. And again, you got to get by the fact, again, early 80s, you're not going to get the fantastic special effects.
No.
It's 3.5 frenzies. Easily 3.5 frenzies.
Easily.
It's a phenomenal, creepy-ass movie. It is a creepy-ass movie. I'm telling you.
It is.
I don't say that lightly. There are only a handful of movies that freak me out, that creep me out like this movie.
Yep. That one and Prince of Darkness was a creep out. Right.
Now, see, The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, takes it to another level.
Right.
That's why that is up there in the pantheon of the best, is because it's got the great special effects. It takes itself very seriously. There is no cheese.
No.
It is diehard, dead serious, and it is freaky and scary and tense.
Yep. Another one that's intense. You don't know if are you in reality or are you under a voodoo hypnosis? Check out Serpent and the Rainbow with Bill Pullman.
Yeah, we got a theme going here with basically all this stuff loosely or directly connected to John Carpenter because he was the man. He was the man, the myth, the legend when it came to horror movies. He had so many great, great movies. Yes, eventually kind of slipped into let's do straight to video stuff. And now he's got this new reality show on Peacock. I watched a little bit of the first episode. Was it Suburban Screams?
Yeah, something like that.
I wasn't overly impressed with that, but
no. And then you go back to Vampires with James Woods,
which wasn't bad.
That was pretty good.
No, it wasn't bad. I think the big downfall for him was his remake of Village of the Damned.
Yeah, should not have done that.
That was not good. That was not good.
All right. First horror movie that I know grew up watching Son of Svengoolie and those things, but outside of Saturday afternoon, campy, cheesy 50s, 60s horror things, first movie that you can remember?
Well, I will always go back to, I don't know, just my memories are of Friday the 13th because I snuck out to go see those movies. And I also, at the time, was dealing with the fact that I had an idiot doctor who said I was allergic to everything on the face of the earth. So he told my mom, he said, he can't have milk, he can't have chocolate, he can't have this, he can't have that. And so that was right around the time that Friday the 13th 3D came out, the third installment.
So you went out and milk duds.
Yeah, I told my mom she was more than willing because she trusted me. You know, I was straight A's. So that bought me the cachet, the leniency. So I said, drop me off at the Forum Cinema, and I'm going to see the other movie that was playing. But buy me tickets. She had to buy me the ticket because I was only, 13 at the time. Yeah, and I went to that concession stand, and I said, load me up, baby, milk duds, M&Ms, everything you got, goobers, give me some goobers. And then I go in and I'm watching Jason Voorhees in 3D lopping heads off. That's my first fond memory of horror movies in the theater.
Okay. Mom and Dad went out, had the next door neighbor. She was her babysitter. Cool as hell. So HBO, we're watching The Children. Can't remember who directed it, but there's this chemical plant that has a leak, and this gas cloud envelops a school bus on its way home, taking the kids after school to drop them off. And for some stupid reason, of course, the bus driver stops. What's that? As the cloud envelops everybody, they wait till it clears so they can see the road to continue on. Well, chaos ensues as the chemicals take over the kids. They get the glowing eyes, and whoever they touch, they melt. Weird, crazy crap in this small little town. But still, not a bad little tale.
Yeah. And the other one that pops into my head is one I've told you about. And I meant to watch it again because I think it's still on Amazon, is Frogs.
Oh, God, yeah.
From the early 70s where they're on a secluded island and all the reptiles turn. And then you got because I have a big thing about snakes, and you've got
Right.
snapping turtles doing damage, and the frogs at the end basically kill I believe the guy in the wheelchair who's caused all the chaos to begin with. And, crocodiles, and it's just like, oh my God, my worst nightmares come to life.
Yeah, and then don't get us started on Phantasm.
Oh, the flying silver ball with the prongs.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Good
fantastic.
stuff.
So good. So good. Locked in the back of the
hearse.
The hearse. Yeah. Oh my God. Awesome stuff. So again, like your Uncle Dave said, feel free to...
The best horror movies came from the mid to late 70s through the late 80s.
Yes. Low budget American Werewolf in London
stuff.
with the greatest special effects
at the time.
Yes.
And they still hold up.
They still hold up. That transformation scene, David Naughton turning into the werewolf, is still unbelievable.
It's still tops.
Yes, still unbelievable to me. But I do not want to short your Uncle Dave. One quick note on movies before we go on to his book review. This the strike shit is starting to piss me off.
We're done with this crap.
Now I will admit, fine. We're going to get to the point now where I'm going to go, fuck it, just stop acting. And I'll just keep watching the old movies over and over. Because now I knew this was coming. Deadpool 3, May 2024 release date.
Maybe.
Canceled.
Yeah, it's done.
Canceled.
Oh, that's right. That was canceled.
Yes, we don't know when now we're going to get Deadpool 3, but it will not come out in May of 2024. And personally for me, I'm still waiting to watch Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, aka Mission Impossible 7. Well, now Mission Impossible 8, aka Dead Reckoning Part 2, has been pushed back 11 months from summer of 2024 to summer of 2025.
So frustrating. That's right. The hell with Hollywood. We have an ant invasion. It's Halloween early, kids. Did you get him?
Yeah, he's a bloody pulpy mess.
Hey!
Appropriate for Halloween.
That's right. Speaking of blood, I will be reviewing now Bloodlines, the newest novel from Nelson and Alex DeMille. Nelson DeMille is one of my favorite authors. Always good. Got some good comedy, one-liner, serious stuff going on. But this series, the second book he's written with his son Alex, the second outing of Army criminal investigators Scott Brody and Maggie Taylor. So, months after being separated after their first case for supposed national security reasons from the book The Deserter, they find themselves teamed up again to go to Berlin to work a case to help solve the murder of a legend in the Army Criminal Investigation Division. Their guy was murdered at a park in Berlin working something that was not an official case. And so they have to work with the German police. They have to work with the German military police, with the FBI over there, the State Department. Basically, their boss tells them, do what you need to do to solve this thing. Everybody else says, you're just here to observe and report whatever you may find, but don't investigate because you have no authority here. Yeah, Scott Brody does not play well with others. He is an insubordinate, sarcastic bastard, a classic DeMille character. Love him. Maggie Taylor, newer. She tries to be straight-laced, but she's just as bad as Brody is. They're a perfect tag team, doing what it takes. Lots of red herrings, double crosses. Good stuff. I'll give it a solid 3. DeMille does not disappoint.
There you go, kids. Yeah, sorry. We had a spider, actually, appropriately for our Halloween episode, a spider.
That would not die.
Yeah, right at the end of where I was talking about Mission Impossible 8.
Where you heard the paper slamming into the ground trying to kill it.
Yes, so yes, we got a little bit of appropriately blood and guts here in our movie segment. But it's all good. It's all taken care of. I'm going to have to complain to my high-end exterminator. Oh, wait, that's me. Next week, even though it'll be after Halloween, as you listen to this on October the 28th, Five Nights at Freddy's, the long-awaited,
highly anticipated
video game adaptation, of course, horror game adaptation, will finally be in theaters and on Peacock. Very interesting strategy given that the pandemic is over. By all accounts, they're saying that it's still going to open at 50 million plus, despite the fact you can just spend $6 and watch it at home on Peacock. You do what you want to do. I know what I'm doing.
Yep.
I'm watching on Peacock.
We have Peacock. We've subscribed. We'll get to watch it.
Yep. So next week, your Uncle Dave and I will continue the horror theme with Five Nights at Freddy's. But we're not even close to being done yet, even though segment 2 is wrapping up. TV and streaming coming up, we'll talk about the latest episodes of Gen V and Doom Patrol.
And Bosch Legacy has started again for season 2.
We have a lot of significant moments of silence to discuss in the world of entertainment and pop culture, but no episode of Sports Frenzy, whether it's sports, weekend edition, pop culture, athletics, ever is complete without getting to play America's favorite game show,
Dumbass or Not.
And we have got plenty in the world of pop culture and entertainment this week. So, your Uncle Dave will partake. One more segment left, kids. Quick promo break. Dave and I will be right back to wrap things up for you. When the mindless zombies at the major sports networks won't leave you alone. When the forces of evil on local sports radio have you cornered. Load up the boomstick known as Sports Frenzy 2.0. Available on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. Kev Dave will drive the dull and boring voices in your head away and offer you the sports salvation you need. New episodes drop every Thursday. And don't forget the weekend edition every Saturday, where the maestro and the conquistador might just review your favorite horror flick. Sports Frenzy 2.0. It's groovy. All right, kids, third and final segment here. Yes, it's still a few days away from Halloween, but this is your weekend edition Halloween episode with your spooky and scary Uncle Dave.
And your totally terrifying Uncle Kev.
So hopefully by now you've gotten over your hangover. You're done reliving the awful memories from Friday night.
And now you're getting ready to go to your Saturday night costume party.
Yep. Getting ready to do it all over again, yes.
In costume, you can make a complete and total ass of yourself with no repercussions because no one will know who you are.
Yes, yes. Even after you drop trow and everybody laughs at your little wee-wee. But because you've got your Frankenstein hat on, nobody cares.
That's right.
All right, we've got TV and streaming for you. Of course, the 2 shows that we are watching right now. Boy, I don't know. One decent quality, one very disappointing.
What the hell are we doing?
Subpar. And that, of course, would be Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol has been a disappointment through the first 3 episodes.
Right, as we're getting through the second half of the final season, season 4, the whole Immortus shindig, but it's not even about Immortus per se. It's about the touchy-feely, everybody talking to each other and trying to get in touch with each other's feelings. This is just, in a musical episode, never, ever, ever do a musical episode.
This is just crap on a stick. The writers of this one should be taken out and shot. They should never be allowed to write for any show ever again.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I got halfway through episode 9, trying to soldier through, even with the musical numbers, and I basically had to say, nope, got to take a break, can't do it. I'm not going to subject myself to this. Yeah. It's not Glee, people. It's Doom Patrol.
My boys and I got through it, and when it was done, we looked at each other and go, what the hell are they doing? This season, this last half of the season sucks.
Yes, and again, I wonder if this doesn't have something to do with quick, hasty writing, lazy writing, because they knew they were done. James Gunn had moved in, already said, we're done with these shows, Titans and Doom Patrol.
That's why you go out on a high note. You don't put this drivel together.
So yeah, Doom Patrol is turning out to be very disappointing as it winds down to its conclusion at the end of its 4th and final season. Now, Gen V's better. I'm still not completely sold on it. It's okay.
It's better than Doom Patrol.
Yeah, well, yeah, but right now we're setting the bar very low, which I never thought I would say. By the way, I never thought I would say this.
I know.
Given how good Doom Patrol was over the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, this one is just abysmal. But Gen V
has
its moments, and it's trending. You haven't finished this last episode, but the students are learning more and more of what they are facing and what they have to battle for their sanity and freedom.
Right.
Against the evil of Goddard University.
Right. God, you. Yep. Now, you have said, and we're not spoiling anything here, you've said that you've heard that this ties directly into season 4 of The Boys.
I've heard things that the story is supposed to somehow tie in to season 4. And at the end of this last episode, I see where the tie-in could come into play.
Now, I will say this. I still don't find this team, this group of characters, as well written or as intriguing as the 7.
No, but this kind of brings them together a little bit.
But again, I don't see the charisma. It's
not there yet. But their kids are still trying to find who they are and what they are.
Oh, it's not. It's the writing.
The writing is kind of lacking.
I'm still not convinced that these actors, this group of characters, are going to. And again, I guess we haven't talked about this yet. It's already been renewed for season 2, which is not a shock.
No.
You figure anything connected with The Boys was going to be an automatic renewal, kind of like anything attached to The Walking Dead on AMC.
It's going to get greenlit and renewed, and even if 3 people are watching it.
There are certain characters, certain actors that we've talked about that I like. there are certain characters and actors that I think are subpar. But again, I don't necessarily have that with the boys. I think all the characters,
They're all solid.
yeah, for better or for worse.
Right.
Pervy, somewhat virtuous. Even the Deep is great. As he's ass fucking a squid.
Or has a starfish on his junk.
Yeah. Just, I'm not getting that same vibe from Gen V. It seems a little more middle of the road, a little more safe.
Yeah.
They act like they're being really, really edgy with the character that switches between male and female.
They've got some work to do.
Well, in this day and age, how is that edgy?
Yeah, it's not.
We'll
see where it goes.
And of course, we will review the full season 1 of Gen V when it wraps up here on the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. Dave, do you got Apple TV Plus?
I do not.
Neither do I.
And guess what? I have no plans to get it.
But guess what? It's going up in price.
Yeah, good for them. Don't care.
So I love how, because I don't know anybody that has Apple TV.
Nope, me neither.
Probably only rich people, but it's going up from $7 to $10 a month.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Still not gonna indulge.
That's why Freevee. I'm watching season 2 of Bosch Legacy just dropped, and God bless them, they picked up literally right where season 1 ended. And it's beautiful. At the end of season 1, we know Bosch's daughter, Maddie, who is in the police force now, kidnapped by a serial rapist that she was a part of a loose investigation trying to solve. Bosch is now on the hunt along with all of the LAPD. Thankfully, it wraps up within the first 2 episodes. The storyline comes to a resolution. We don't have it long drawn out, thankfully, so they're able to move on with other storylines. So 2 episodes in, it has not lost anything. It's still fantastic.
And as I told you, I still find it odd that Amazon wouldn't keep that on the Prime Video service.
Yeah.
Where they had the original Bosch series.
Yeah.
Little odd. Maybe they're trying to bump up Freevee.
Potentially, but hey, it works. I'm happy. Bosch is still relevant on there, and the quality of writing and acting is still solid.
All right, kids, there you go. So we move on to, unfortunately, a handful of very significant moments of silence in the world of pop culture and entertainment. Of course, first and foremost, Dave, shut your mouth! Because Shaft died.
He's a bad mother.
The great Richard Roundtree has left us.
Ugh. So damn good in what he did.
Now, was he not also in... Was he in The Dirty Dozen?
No.
No.
That was Jim Brown.
But wasn't he in one of those war movies? I could have swore Richard Roundtree was in a very significant war movie. Maybe not The Dirty Dozen, but...
Well, let's go to...
He was not just known for Shaft, is what I'm saying.
No, he was in other things. Let's hit our IMDb.
Now, of course, we also have, on the music front, Dwight Twilley, who I don't really know. I'm ashamed to say that because I like to think that I know my music backwards and forwards, upside down and right side out, but Dwight Twilley supposedly had a couple top 20 hits, I believe in the late 90s, and I just don't remember him and don't remember his music. But a lot of people say he was very significant. So,
okay.
Thoughts and prayers to Dwight Twilley.
Okay, there we go. Oh, he had a lot of cameo appearances and things.
Then, of course, we had from Rocky, the great Burt Young.
Oh, Paulie.
Very sad because the Rocky movies are so iconic that anybody associated with those movies, when they pass away, we have to acknowledge them.
Yeah, definitely.
You got nothing?
All right,
Nothing?
Here we go. Richard Roundtree TV movie Firehouse. Other than the Shaft movies, he was in Earthquake, Man Friday, Roots.
Knew he's in Roots.
Game of Vultures, Day of the Assassin. Of course, he had cameos on The Love Boat, Chips, Inchon. Not any of the big war movies through the 70s.
See, that blows my mind. I thought he was at least in one of the big war movies.
Not that popped up out there.
All right.
Just lots of stuff.
Very rare that I'm wrong, but maybe in this case I am. So are you ready to play?
Let's play.
Are you ready to play?
Let's play Dumbass or Not.
America's favorite game show.
Brought to you by Red Foreman.
Got 6 potential dumbasses for you this week, Uncle Dave.
All right, Uncle Kev. Let us begin.
I think this is going to be pretty easy, but let's start off. Okay, if you listen to the sports edition, you would know that I, your Uncle Kev, am a very, very big fan of the University of Miami. Well, I am going to put forth a UM grad for our first potential dumbass of the week here. TikTok star Alex Earl admitted, and by the way, very pretty, admitted that she once thought while she was attending the University of Miami, because of a story that a friend of her told her, and she was out one night riding a mechanical bull, she thought the mechanical bull gave her an STD.
What sorority was she in?
Didn't put 2 and 2 together and realized that, hey, you are wearing a mini skirt with only your basic underwear on. So maybe all the rubbing and the chafing from the thrashing of the bull might have caused the bumps and the rash in that area, and it wasn't
not
an
have
STD.
Been an STD.
So I don't know what makes her more of a dumbass: the fact that she believed that a mechanical bull could give her an STD, or the fact that her friend told her that she got one from a mechanical bull. So of course, her symptoms
matched.
Yes.
And yeah, probably you got it from the guy you were dating, and he fed you
the first
line.
Well, that goes back to Seinfeld. The episode where I got it from a tractor, Jerry. I got gonorrhea from a tractor.
Yeah, no.
All right. I don't know what's going on over in Britain lately. I don't know. I didn't realize they were so weird. How they handle things in government, and, you know, the BBC is getting all nutsy cuckoo, and Great Britain, if the Labour Party ends up taking over, the Labour Party is saying that they might actually, and this ties into J.K. Rowling, of course, the author of the Harry Potter books. Britain is saying if the Labour Party takes over, they have legislation pending where they'll put you in prison if you do not use preferred pronouns when dealing with transgender people.
Seriously.
Yes. So if you do not address somebody with their proper pronouns as they want them, you could go to jail.
Yeah.
Now, of course, J.K. Rowling says, then throw me in jail. She's very outspoken on this. But just the fact that we're going so far the other way with free speech.
This is absolutely freaking ridiculous when you're... No. No, that's asinine.
It's anti-free speech. You're forcing people to say things
that you do not believe.
If I call you she, I'm supposed to be thrown in jail? You know, that's not your preferred pronoun of choice. So if I call you she, you call me she.
What if I call you shithead?
Well, that's not a gender pronoun. You do that every day, Dave. But if you were to call me she, you could get thrown in jail for that.
So stupid. So damn stupid. It has to end at some point, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't know. We've still got a few more to go. We've still got a few more to go, bud. We know about the writer's strike. We're going to discuss the writers and the screen actors. First up, the Screen Actors Guild. SAG-AFTRA, as they are known, sent out a little message to their members. Of course, this would be all the famous actors. George Clooney, all the way down to
all the way to the little
bit players,
undernamed.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna be mad at me for that.
All the understudies and
so
Man 4 in scene 2 of episode 12 of whatever frickin' show.
Yeah. So this is how insane this whole strike thing has gotten. They sent out a memo telling their members, Halloween is coming up. Please do not wear what they call struck costumes, which means nothing recognizable. Like you do not, they told Ryan Reynolds basically, you do not go out with your kids dressed up as Deadpool.
Yeah, or you can't even dress up as Ken if you want your daughter dressed up as Barbie.
Right.
Type bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. And they all came back. Melissa Gilbert, of course, was the former president of SAG before the nanny took over.
Yeah.
And Melissa Gilbert even came out and said, are you people crazy? This is what you're focusing on?
Stupid.
How about you work on getting back to the negotiation table and not worry about crap like this?
Good for her.
Ryan Reynolds, of course, came out and said, no, this is not going to work for me. Yeah. You can't tell me what to dress up as for Halloween. Yeah, basically any trademark character.
Yeah.
They're telling the actors and actresses you cannot dress up like this.
Yeah, no.
A generic skeleton, a generic ghost is okay.
Yeah, but you can't be Frankenstein or any recognizable.
Right. Any Marvel character, any superhero.
That is the ultimate dumbass comments coming out of leadership.
Yeah. Yeah. And you wonder why most of the time we side against the unions. But we're not done. Now we move on to the writers.
But wait.
It took now the writers got their agreement. They're supposedly going back to work, right? Because now we've got all the idiots back on late night TV. Now that they've got the people writing their asinine, stupid jokes. It took them weeks. And I don't understand, number one, why we have to wait for specific groups to make political statements, especially the Writers Guild of America. But because they got so much pressure from their members, after weeks and weeks, the Writers Guild finally said, oh yeah, I guess we condemn Hamas's terrorist attacks on Israel. We're so sorry it took us so long to get around to doing this.
Because we can't get our heads out of our asses because we don't know how to write. We have nothing creative. We didn't know how to say it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Ironically, the Writers Guild couldn't write a simple statement saying, yeah, we kind of condemn all these Jewish people getting killed.
Yeah, absolute dumb asses.
And I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, but considering how many Jewish people
are in the entertainment industry,
it's
pretty damn sad.
I think this is a big reason why there was such an outcry. The Rock got upset. Dwayne Johnson got upset because now wasn't it Madame Tussauds Wax Museum? It's another place overseas called Grevin. I guess this is like the second greatest wax museum of all time.
Okay.
And so Dwayne Johnson has a life-size wax replica there. And everybody freaked out when pictures of this new display hit the internet because he was too white.
Oh, God.
So they immediately had to send somebody in to darken the skin tone. And of course, even Dwayne Johnson ripped into them and said, how dare you make me so light-skinned? I would just like to point out that I have a Peyton Manning figure that is blacker than Michael Vick.
Yes.
Yet I never heard Peyton Manning complain saying you need to lighten the skin color on my action figure. Because it's too dark.
There's your one-off,
which should be worth money.
Buku bucks.
Yeah. Literally darker skin, literally than Michael Vick. But no, and when I saw the initial pictures of this, I was like, what's the big freaking deal? Number one, he's not black. He's half black, half Samoan, Asian Pacific.
He is lighter skinned.
Right. For him to make a big deal about this and for all the trolls out there living in their mother's basement to make a big deal about this is asinine. I'm sorry. There are more important things in the world to worry about. All right, so finally, let's stick with, of course, Hollywood and another pampered, spoiled, rotten Hollywood celebrity to wrap things up here on the weekend edition. I know Dave loves his vagina-scented candles as much as the next guy.
Are we talking Gwyneth Paltrow and her goop?
We are talking Gwyneth Paltrow, yes. Gwyneth Paltrow decided to make a statement this week. Because, of course,
Does anybody care?
She is the offspring of two famous people. Of course, Blythe Danner and Bruce Paltrow, who was a fairly significant figure in the world of entertainment. She came out and said, you know what? The term Nepo baby is a very ugly moniker. My question to Gwyneth Paltrow and every other Nepo baby out there is, hey, number one, I am a huge fan of Wolfgang Van Halen. But he's got the talent. He's proven already he's got the talent. Yes, his name is Van Halen. That got a lot of doors open for him. The thing that you people, Gwyneth Paltrow and your ilk, need to understand is whereas Wolfgang Van Halen actually kicks ass, plays guitar, does all the instruments, he's not making vagina-scented candles. I guarantee if you weren't connected to two famous Hollywood celebrities,
You would not
you
have been
wouldn't.
in anything.
You would never have been popular with your vagina-scented goop candles. Okay? So just shut up. Admit the fact that you are where you are because of your
who
parents.
you are.
God,
I
Nepo babies should just shut up and enjoy
what
the
they
privilege.
have.
And secretly say thank mom and dad for the fact that I am who I am.
Beautifully stated.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up the weekend edition.
Yep. Let's tie some bandages on this bad boy to celebrate Halloween.
Yep, slice and dice it all up and
shiv it to the bone.
Yep. We hope you guys have a very safe and happy Halloween if you have kids, and if you still trick or treat, which I don't even know if many do anymore.
Not so much around some neighborhoods. There are the organized events at different places.
The trunk or treats and the malls, and just find a way to have some fun with your kids. Get them out there somehow, some way. Get them in a costume. Preferably one that'll piss off. Preferably a costume that'll piss off the Screen Actors Guild.
Exactly.
But dress your kid up in a penis outfit. Who cares? This is my daughter. She's dressed as a vagina. Gwyneth Paltrow said it was okay.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. For the love of God.
Halloween.
We're all going to die someday. Have fun.
And on that cheery note, we'll talk to you next week, kids.
Take care.
Bum-ba-dee-da, bum-ba-dee-da, bum-ba-dee-da. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then.
Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. Happy trails to you until we meet